Hey everyone, I hope you're doing great. I'm just fixing it up. Yes, here we go. Yeah, cool. I hope you're doing great. And tonight, something just came to my mind. I was working with a client of mine, and this client is extremely successful, socially speaking, extremely charming if you come across. And yet, this client is struggling immensely, deeply. And while he came to me and he's like, while on one hand, I am able to manage a huge workforce, I'm able to convince anyone, sell anyone anything, and yet I am so deeply unhappy. And this is not for the first time came across someone who's extremely successful, extremely famous, extremely powerful, and yet deeply unhappy, deeply empty, hollow, and struggling. I remember many years back, almost a decade back, I had another client of mine, extremely popular person, everyone knows, extremely powerful, inherited a fortune which was like into billions, and on the bed and thinking of committing suicide, married with kids, and absolutely no financial challenge. Everything was kind of going great, yet there was a sort of emptiness and hollowness. And tried everything in the world and still contemplating suicide. And while her manager was taking me to her, on the way I was just listening to the manager, and the manager goes, "Ma'am is so lucky, she is so blessed. Look at the bungalow, look at the villas, look at the fame." And the manager had no idea why I was going there and why we had this meeting set up. And so I thought, this is one thing which demands our attention and some thought. And why people who are extremely successful, famous, and powerful, they struggle, they suffer, and they suffer immensely and deeply. And I want to give you a framework that'll make it easy for you to understand. And I call it pie. The pie that makes the pudding. And how to have your pie and eat it too. How can you make sure, what are the things you need to focus on to ensure that you not just live, survive, but thrive and enjoy every moment of this life fully and totally. And if you just remember this PI framework and start working on it and strengthening each aspect of the PI framework, I think you'll be pretty happy with the results that you'll get. And if you're a parent, and you have a child that's growing up, awareness of just this framework can really, empower you to support your child in deeply meaningful ways, right? So the P in PI stands for personality. And personality, how I define it, is, when how the world experiences you. Now, when you have a good personality, you're extremely easy to love. You're extremely easy to be with. You cheer up. You're the life of the party. People enjoy your company. They feel empowered and charged in your presence. And that's why we say you have an empowering, positive personality. However, if someone has a personality which is kind of difficult, and you can easily notice, I mean, you don't need to really study psychology to notice someone with toxic, difficult personality. Usually these people end up lonely. Usually these people have people around only by virtue of their position. So if they're holding a powerful position in a department or in society where they have a skill set that the society needs, these people feel they are surrounded by people, and the day their chair goes, the power goes, they're empty, they're lonely. Nobody wants to be with them, not even their family. And I know a lot of really good experts who are really good at what they do. However, they struggle with a kind of, I'd say, difficult personality that makes it extremely difficult for other people to love them. It makes it extremely difficult for other people to live with them. And so this is the personality. This is how we are on the outside, how we appear to the world. And we develop this personality. When we are kids, we are exposed to schools, colleges, universities, and many other learning programs wherein the focus of all these programs is how to have an amazing magical personality. And I'm sure you'll agree with me, looking around, most of the people struggle with having a decent personality. So you can have a destructive personality or you can have a designer personality. You can weave it consciously for yourself and for people like kids or other people in your life. This is possible. Before we get into how, let's go to the second aspect of pi, which is I. I is identity. So personality is how other people experience you, and identity is how you experience yourself. When you have a toxic personality, difficult personality, other people find it hard to love you. When you have a kind of toxic or disturbing identity, you find it hard to love yourself. When your personality is difficult, other people find it hard to live with you. When you have a difficult identity, you find it hard to be with yourself. You just can't be with yourself. You need distractions. You need to be doing something. You need to have someone around you because you're scared of being left alone by yourself. So that's a sign of a difficult identity. On the other hand, if your identity is optimized, it's amazing. You do not need much. You can just be yourself and you can really feel the way you want to feel. The control of your emotions, thoughts is pretty much at your fingertips, at the click of a thought, like I like to say. And this is the I. Now, before I go to the E, I want you to take a look at P and I, the external personality and the inner identity. You'll find a lot of people who have an amazing, charming, attractive personality, but a really complex, difficult identity. So many of these people, we call them great actors. They act great, they look amazing on the stage, on the screen, but when you go and live with them in real life, hand to hand, in the trenches, you figure out that, oh my God, they are really, really in deep trouble. They need drugs, they need all sort of sedatives and crutches to really calm themselves down, to really fall asleep, because their mind won't shut down. They just can't love themselves, they can't live with themselves, and it's really difficult for them. And there are some people who have really compromised external personality. Maybe it's not toxic or difficult, but it's not that attractive or charming. However, they are pretty in control of their identity, and because of which they are able to just manage to get by in the world, even though they're not that great, attractive, charming on the outside. However, even in such cases, people with control over their inner identity, at some point of time, the control goes away or it becomes too much to manage. It becomes overwhelming, and they begin to struggle. They hit a crisis. So you'll find all these people, executives, doing great in their 20s and 30s, and then as the life is happening and they reach a point where they go, what some of them call midlife crisis, or suddenly everything is going fine but they're not able to enjoy anything. The life appears so meaningless, and there is nothing to look forward to, and everything becomes like, so all the things they kind of used to enjoy, they're no longer able to enjoy them. In clinical psychology, one of the symptoms of what we say clinical depression. So this is the second. So if you have a great personality but your identity is not optimized, you'll struggle. If you don't have a great personality, you can still get by in the world, but even with identity, if you don't have the third aspect of the E, pi, eventually you will reach a crisis. And the third E, which is essential, eh, that is your essence. That is who you actually are. And to make it simpler to understand, I'll give you the, let's say there's a nice pizza, nice looking pizza. It's the most beautiful pizza you have ever seen in your life. And it's lying there and you look at it and it's mouth watering and you really want to just grab a slice of it. And you pick the slice of it, and the looks or the presentation of the pizza is the personality. And by looking at it, you're salivating. That's the magic of a great charming personality. You look at one and you're like, wow. So you grab a slice and you put it in your mouth, and the moment you put it in your mouth, you figure out it's plastic. It's finely crafted plastic. It is silicon. It's made up of silicon. And what happens then? Now it looks great, but you're not able to really relish it. You're not able to enjoy it. So this is the identity. It looks like a pizza, but it's not really a pizza. And the essence of a pizza is, it nourishes you. That's the purpose of all food. A good quality pizza made with good ingredients is eventually going to nourish you, give you positive, pure, clean energy. But this is a pizza that looks great, but it's made up of silicon. And if you insist and chew it and put it in your gut, it's going to poison you. It's going to destroy you. So that's the essence. See, essence is that nourishes us all. And the identity is the inner system that we have, and that kind of that brings the flavor to life. And the personality is something what other people experience of us. So what other people experience from a distance, it's our personality. What we experience when we are by ourselves, that's our identity. And when we just be, when there is nothing happening, when we go all the way deep inside, beyond identity, we reach a point wherein we kind of, we get in touch with our essence. So our essence is always with us. All the ingredients of identity are always there. And all the ingredients of a great personality are always there. So what do we need to do? Essence, you cannot develop. You cannot go to a school, college, university and train to optimize your essence. Your essence is simply perfect. For essence, you need to realize it because it's already with you. It's already in your pocket. You just need to realize that your essence is in you right now. And what you need is, you need a system that helps you really remind yourself, recognize, realize your essence. And meditation is one way. Intuition is another way. And then comes your identity. How do you manage identity? So like I said, identity is something you master. So you master the ingredients of your inner psychic apparatus. Once you master them, your identity becomes effortless. You can expand it, contract it. You can feel the way you want to feel in any given moment on the inside. That's your identity. And that's something you master. We call it inner mastery. And the third aspect is personality. And that's where you go into a acting school, you go into a communication school, you go for a personality development course, and you train your voice, you train your body language, you train your smile, you train the way you look, the way you use words, the way you structure sentences. All the verbal, non-verbal aspects of your communication, the presence, the clothes you wear, the way you walk, everything. That's personality. So you train your personality, you develop your personality, you master your identity, and you realize your true self, or you realize your essence. So that's the pie: personality, identity, and essence. If you don't realize your essence, sooner or later you're going to struggle in life. And the kind of world we are living in, where the complexity is increasing by the day, as we are going deeper and deeper into the mysteries of the universe, as we are creating more and more tech, realizing your essence is and should be the number one priority. Because if you do not realize your essence, it's going to happen faster, the identity breakdown, the identity crisis, and the personality is going to go haywire. And that's what we are seeing today. Although we have more access to knowledge, we have all the wisdom of all the ages on YouTube alone, or Facebook alone, and or so many platforms. We have access to all the books in the world. We have access to all the experts in the world. And yet we are struggling to keep our kids sane. We are struggling to stay sane. We are struggling with almost everything. Most people are struggling, and most people, they struggle, and eventually they break down. They have a breakdown. And we can stop this if we begin with essence. We realize the essence, and then we spend some time mastering our identity, mastering our inner experience. And if you go to a good personality school, having a great personality is also a great thing. We want to be who we are. We want to be happy, feeling happy, and we want to make sure when we are with other people, they feel happy too. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'll just take a look at the comments. And this is the pie I wanted to share with you tonight. And yeah, cool. Thank you guys for joining me tonight. I'll see you again. And if you have any questions related to your mental health, emotional issues, relationship problems, feel free to WhatsApp me or leave them in the comment section below, and I will take those questions in the coming sessions. So, this is the secret to feel happy, to be happening, and to have the capacity to make things happen. Have your pie and eat it too. Good night.